I mean, we say we're the only ones doing it with a ground penetrating radar. There's other people really working on this technology,
Yeah.
and we finally found kind of the special sauce with our geophysicist Pavin.
This is the Pitches and Niches podcast. Connecting ideas with opportunity. That's your idea. This is the Pitches and Niches podcast.
All right, so today we have our first guest with us, Paul Murray. Paul's a good friend of mine, and he's a former Navy EOD explosive ordnance disposal operator. He's got decades of experience operating in high-risk environments, austere environments overseas. And following his military career, he transitioned into developing and deploying drone technology that's designed to detect buried threats, IEDs, things of that nature that are putting people in harm's way. And his work focuses on practical, field-tested solutions for humanitarian missions, public safety, and recovery operations. And so it's really good to have Paul on the show. He's a good friend, and I'm excited to dive in. Paul, thanks, man, for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Great being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, man, bombs. We're probably going to get canceled just because we're saying the word bomb. But
oh my God, right?
So you've been around explosives for over 20 years now.
Since 1989.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to Desert Storm in 91.
Okay.
Right. And was in the EOD program before that. But yeah, 1989 was when I joined the Navy.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm a Navy vet too, as you know.
That's right. Thank you for your service.
Navy corpsman.
That's right.
A medic. For those of you that don't know what corpsman is, and Obama would say corpsman. Doesn't have no idea what he said. So let's back up a little bit. So where are you from?
So I'm born and raised in Syosset, which is a little town on the North Shore of Long Island.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Northerner. Yankee.
Yep, a total Yankee. Yep.
Perfect. I love it, man.
I went to high school with a bunch of notorious people, a bunch of them being involved with the Wolf of Wall Street. Like that
Oh,
movie.
wow, the Jordan Belfort stuff.
The whole crew. I went to high school with all those guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you took a little different path, though, from them.
I did.
Did he try to sell you a pin?
Yeah, they did. They did. I didn't know him or the number 2 guy, but the rest of the crew. I went to high
that's
school with
crazy.
A bunch of those guys. Yeah.
Man, so wild times growing up then,
Yes.
man. So what led you to serve your country?
Well, it wasn't like a great act of patriotism. I had been thrown out of college and fired from 2 jobs. I wasn't on drugs or a drunk or anything. I was just immature.
Yeah.
And at a young age, though, I said, my way is not working. And a week later, I was in boot camp. I was 24 years old.
Wow.
In Chicago?
No, I went to Orlando.
Ah.
That was a thing.
Oh, wow. Is that
was
what
the
brought
thing.
you down here?
Well, that for the first time, yeah. But when we lived overseas, after I got out of the Navy, on Guam. My wife and I stayed there another 10 years. I started a business there called Bombs Away, doing unexploded ordnance consulting. When we moved back to the States, my parents had retired and lived in Vero Beach. So that's how I got to Florida.
Awesome.
Mm. That's great, man.
Yeah.
So you have a pitch. Well, what we like to call a pitch. You have a new startup.
Yes.
But it's also a niche.
Yes.
So what's the name of your company?
So the name of my company is Patriot Logistics Group, which is where I have the service disabled veteran-owned business certification, as do you for your business. Yep. And then we have another company called Terrapax Veritas, which is my business partner and the 2 business partners, and that's the same services.
Yeah.
Just a little more geared towards U.S. government with the Patriot Logistics Group.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, man. And so that's your passion, is basically humanitarian operations, going in and basically disposing of these unexploded ordnances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give me a little bit of insight as to, so you got out of the Navy in Guam,
right?
You started bombs away.
Yep.
So for those that are listening, like that don't know anything about, I always tell people, right? Like we live in South Florida, we live in Palm Beach County. We not only live in a bubble, we live in a bubble within a bubble. Like
fantasy land.
People,
Yeah,
it is fantasy land. Like, I went to an event last night in Palm Beach, and same thing. People live in a bubble around here.
Sure.
A lot of people don't really care about what's going on outside of this world, right?
Right.
So for those that don't know, there's more than one or two wars that are going on throughout the world. And there have been, the bad guys, the evil in this world, they try to harm as many people as they possibly can, take out as many people as they possibly can at one time by using things like IEDs and whatever type of explosive that they can, right? Dirty bombs and things like that. And so when the wars are over, there's still a lot of unexploded ordnances that have been used in, crop fields and schoolyards and neighborhoods. And, a lot of people think, well, when the war's over, it's over. But really,
nope,
it's not over for years, right?
It's not over. So the landmine, and I didn't make this up, but this is a great line. The landmine is the perfect soldier. It doesn't complain. You don't have to feed it. It doesn't get blisters on its feet. They just lay there and wait until somebody steps on them. And it could be somebody who steps on it who wasn't even alive when the conflict happened. So if you go to Cambodia right now, there's landmines there from the Khmer Rouge from the 70s. A 10-year-old steps on that. And, it's life-changing. And it changes the family. And what happens is, so a long time ago in Cambodia, like in the 90s, when it started getting safe again from the Khmer Rouge, these refugees came back and they want to farm the rice and they can't. But the dad does anyway. And he'll go out and get bit by a landmine. And now you got a 12-year-old son who's trying to do it too. Or the livestock steps on it. And then now you're out your livestock. Or it keeps people from going to school or going to work or going to the doctor. I mean, it's area denial, which is the textbook form of what a mine does, and they work very well. And I'm just using Cambodia as an excuse. Right now in Ukraine, the Russian troops had taken over areas of farmland, and they mined it because they know the big thing in Ukraine is the grain and the sunflowers. You take that away from them, and you also hurt them economically, just like he's knocking out the power grid right now. You take away their power, and you fight a war on many fronts, and economically is a big thing too. What they're doing in Ukraine right now.
What do you think the percentages of mines and like bombs that haven't gone off or mines that haven't gone off that are still around after like wars and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, Russia has a very high dud rate. And they're about 25%.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a lower dud rate. Our stuff still goes to the lowest bidder, right?
Right.
But our if you you're not a bomb guy, but if you go to like a bomb museum and they have them, our stuff is really pretty and nice. Whereas you see like German stuff or Russian stuff and they have like big, thick welds on them and stuff.
Right.
Doesn't make them, who cares if they're pretty? You're just going to blow them up.
Yeah.
But our fusing systems and all that and the way we store them and all that is much better than everybody else's. We have a much lower dud rate.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll ask this question now, and then we can talk about it towards the end.
Okay.
But have you ever had any close calls?
I mean, yeah, I've been too close.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have the luxury of not being too close.
Yeah.
I have a story from Desert Storm. We can talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about that
later.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll talk about that at the
All
end because I want to save that.
A couple of stories.
So so basically you when you got out, you chose the entrepreneurship route.
Yes, right away.
What drew you to becoming an entrepreneur? What drew you to not only becoming an entrepreneur, but also drew you to staying in the same field and doing exactly what you're doing now? I mean, obviously, I feel like you kind of answered it, but like there had to be some sort of other drive about why you wanted to.
Well, when I was stationed on Guam, when I was in Desert Storm, I was there. The war was only 100 hours, and then we were cleaning things up, like along the beaches. There'd be sea mines, and we'd get tasked to go out and blow those up or whatever. But there were these civilians over there doing bomb guy stuff. I was like, who are those guys? And you didn't really know who it was, but they were doing. I was like, okay, so there's a life outside of this. And I thought about that. And then my unit, they closed the base in the Philippines, so my unit moved to Guam. And we would send teams out. I would go every now and again. You would go out to the islands, and they had found ordnance. And I was like, wow, that's a thing. Like maybe that could be me going out and finding it safely. Because what people were doing is they just find it on construction sites. A backhoe would clunk into it, and they'd be like, oh, there's a piece of ordnance. And they'd move it. I was like, what if I found it safely as a bomb guy? And then you never knew what it was. Like they didn't know what it was. Everything was a bomb. It could be grenades or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, well, what if I called the unit and said, hey, I'm on Pohnpei right now. I'm in Palau. I'm on Saipan. And, we've got some, 155 rounds or whatever with a whatever fuse. They'd be like, oh, okay, we know what we're getting into.
Yeah.
Like, they appreciate that.
Gotcha.
Which some of them did, some of them didn't.
Yeah.
It was tough. I was a junior guy, and I just started my business. And a lot of the officers in my unit were not, how dare that guy start his own business. It's kind of what you're fighting for, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that was a little intimidating at first, but it went away.
And so since then, have you been in business for yourself the whole time?
I've had jobs here and there.
Right.
But I've always been like, I want my own thing.
Yeah.
And
because I asked you what shaped your work ethic, what drew you in too, and you told me your dad. Your dad was a big influence in your life, and when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Yeah, my dad was a pioneer in the couponing industry, and I saw that, and he was a salesman.
Yeah.
And he had his own businesses before that, and then he had some limited success, good and bad. And then he was selling advertising, and then he started his own business doing it. Mm-hmm. And I just saw that, and I was like, I kind of like the way that looks. You see people going to work and grinding it out, and that's cool. And he would give me these little life lessons, these little teachable moments. And,
right.
I'd be like, the guy makes $40 an hour. And my father would say, yeah, but there's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh.
That's one of the things that...
I was like, wow, that really hit me.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really hit me starting out. Well, not starting out, but just working for other people when I was younger is, I have friends and people that I network with and they work for other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing, not everybody is cut out to run their own business, be an entrepreneur. They don't have not everybody has the drive. Not everybody can deal with rejection, and it's hard. Elon Musk, he says it's his baby. It's like another child, right?
Yeah, it's funny when people they say to you, "You're taking it personally."
It is, but it is.
Like, I don't have the luxury of not taking it personally.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is, but and I have people that have told me, well, if I work hard enough, I can top out at 200. I can top out at 180. I can top out at 300. But in my mind, and I'm always having these conversations with my wife too. It's just like, but that's it. And I'm not saying that from a greedy person standpoint. I'm just saying that's it. There is a ceiling. No matter what job you're working in, it doesn't matter how hard you're working. Like, I understand people are like, well, I work on commission. It's like, I get it, but there's only so much I feel like you can do, because I've been in the real estate world before, and there's only so much I feel like commission that you can really make. I mean, they say it's unlimited, but I don't know.
So many hours in a day.
Right. There's always and so being your own boss, going down the entrepreneur route, it just made me think like, I don't want there to be a ceiling. I want there to be, I want to succeed because I'm driven, and nothing's going to stop me.
Well, remember Obama said that you didn't build that. It's like, yes, you did.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Damn right you did.
Right.
Come on.
You know, I mean, and I'll go back to rejection, and that's one of my questions that I ask every entrepreneur that I run into is when you're starting out, because starting out is the hardest, and people can. I've owned businesses, I've sold businesses, I've started businesses. The business I currently have, as you know, I'm a private security owner.
Yep.
You know, being 4 to 5 years into your own company, I still feel like I'm starting out because I'm still getting rejection.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just become more galvanized to rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know you've probably dealt with it before, but like,
Absolutely.
I have a friend of mine who just says like, you're going to get 100 no's before you say yes. And then I've got other friends who are entrepreneurs as well that say, no, you're going to get 1,000 no's before you get a yes, or the that first step is the hardest one to take. And it's so true, man, because when I first started out, I was getting rejected. Even in real estate, I think that's, you know, like I made it a point to get my real estate license, and I learned to cold call. And that's one of the worst things in the world to do is like
a grind.
Cold call. Like I talked my wife into getting her real estate license, and I made her cold call. And the first time she ever cold called, she cried.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like,
It's not cut out for everybody.
it's not. But I'll
Sure.
tell you, it taught me how to face rejection. I think rejection in being an entrepreneur is like one of the hardest things that people have to overcome. And if you're, I mean, no one's used to it really when you're first starting out. But like, if you can make it past that, and I don't know, I feel like you've got a pretty good chance. You know, if you just grind hard enough.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to learn how to get over the hurdles.
One of the pieces of advice my dad gave me was, you're probably going to have more bad days than good days, but the good days outweigh the bad days.
Yeah.
Because the good days
Worth
are
it.
really good.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know, he gave me a lot of good advice. And I'm the youngest by a lot. And he became his most successful kind of when everybody moved out of the house but me. So I got to... I got a different. His name was Scotty. I had a different Scotty than maybe some of my other brothers and sisters, which was very cool. I went to a lot of cool steakhouses and stuff. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
So you told me to remind you, because we're talking about rejection too in business. You said remind you of a time when you were, because you went to the University of Maryland.
Yep.
And you walked on a track team.
Yeah.
At the University of Maryland.
Yeah.
So tell me about that story.
Okay, so I ran in high school, and I was all county in high school. I was pretty good in high school. I ran the half mile and the mile, and I transferred into Maryland and just walked on the team. I mean, the coach knew who I was. He knew I was coming, but I wasn't on scholarship. He didn't give me shoes. He didn't give me a uniform. Nothing. And there was the good guys, the scholarship guys, and there was the scrubs. And he said, "Look, you're better than these guys, but you're going to train with the scrubs." And we meet at this certain time of day, and you're going to train with them as a crew. Do something to dazzle me. And he said it, and I said this just the other day to somebody. Track is entrepreneurial, right? You don't need a helmet. You don't need reps. If you run a 4-minute mile, you're the dude. Now, I didn't run a 4-minute mile, but he was like, just so do something to dazzle me here. And I was like, okay. So I trained hard. I was in the weight room. I was going to bed early. I wasn't partying. And he had a time trial with the good guys. And he said, all right, I want you to run in this because you're doing good. I got you in good shape. Yeah. And it's going to be a 2,000 meter on the track. I want you guys to run an off distance. So that's a mile plus 1 lap. So I was like, okay. So I won. And when I would do my distance running with the good guys, the distance runs, and he said to me one day, he's kind of kidding around, but he goes, hey, just make sure you stay out of the way. So when I won, I said, so staying out of the way, if I'm in the front, that's good, right?
Still staying out of the way, yeah.
That's, yeah. So then he pulled everybody in, and he's like, Paul's coming to practice at 3:00 now. So Paul's on the team.
Yeah.
And that was very cool. I worked hard. I trained hard. I went to bed early. And at University of Maryland, that's hard. It's a good party school.
Right.
And, that was very rewarding to me. And
I was about to say, how did it make you feel, man? Because
it was great.
Earning a spot like that, walking on.
Yeah, it was cool.
Earning a starting spot, it's very rare.
Yeah. Division I athlete, So then after that, I'm like running against Kenyans, and I mean, I never beat any of them. They're just too darn good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I ran in the Penn relays, in the distance medley, and we got like 12th or something. But the first 3 teams broke the world's record.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Gosh.
In front of 65,000 at the Penn Relays at University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Man,
yeah, it was pretty cool.
that's a good story, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
So moving back to, the bombs and your business. What's one thing that you would say that people would misunderstand about growth or success in your space? Like, I'm assuming, and I'm probably wrong, but I feel like there's not that many types of businesses in your space that do what you do, right? I mean, are you pretty rare, or are there quite a bit of companies that are out there?
Well, I mean, we say we're the only ones doing it with a ground penetrating radar. There's other people really working on this technology, and we finally found kind of the special sauce with our geophysicist Pavan. He's got a doctorate degree in geophysics, and he's a brilliant guy, and he came up with this proprietary software. So we a lot of people are working on it, and they're gonna figure it out. But right now we have the secret sauce, and there's a different, when you put a ground penetrating radar on a drone, that's a very new technology. He says that in the video. He's like, that's a new technology, and
that's a video we're gonna share with you guys, so you can go on the website and actually see this technology in action, live in action.
Yep. I mean, we can find plastic landmines buried underground. We did it in Ukraine. It worked.
So my question is to, so walk us through, this is a pitch. This is a startup here, and we're hoping that people that are listening want to donate. They want to contribute in some way in order to help in the humanitarian missions and the passion that you guys have. I mean, who doesn't want to help kids and families, and especially when their livelihoods are at stake, and their the fields that they grow the food, because economically, right. I mean, over in Ukraine, I think I heard you say this, but like, there's a lot of grain. I mean, isn't that like a meeting point, or like a stopping point, I guess, from point A to point B? They supply a lot of the grain to Europe, right?
To Europe and Africa,
right?
Yes. Like, so, it's the bread, they call it the breadbasket of Europe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so the granaries have kind of not stopped, but they've definitely slowed down because of
they've totally slowed down because of all the shipping. It's Russia has interfered with that. They've laid landmines in the farms.
Yeah.
I was when I showed in the video that's a farm town we're in, and that's where all the farm workers lived, in that little village that Russia destroyed. And the farmers were doing their own demining. So we found this farmer, and he was in a pickup truck, like a flatbed, full of landmines. And him and his sons had found them. I don't even know how they did it. And they had taken the fuses out. I know. So he's standing on this pile of landmines, smoking a cigarette. So he doesn't speak English. So they were like, Paul, maybe you could give him some advice. And I was like, I mean, don't stand on them. Don't smoke a cigarette.
Smoke a cigarette.
Don't have all of them in one little place like that. I'm like, where do I even begin? And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to give him any knowledge, because he's doing just fine. Like,
I mean, the guy's made it this far.
He's still alive.
Him and his sons demining. I mean, that's the kind of people they are.
Yeah.
Wow.
As you can see, they're kicking Russia's ass in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing this not only in Russia too, but like, because you're heading to Africa soon? I mean, you're seeing people that go out on their own like this and demine all the time.
Well, yes, and then sometimes it's like in some places, sometimes the terrorists go in there and they get them and they use them as
they reuse
IEDs.
them.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So you really got to get them.
Yeah.
Hopefully our next place is Egypt. They've got 25 million mines in the western desert of Egypt from World War II.
Gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, and they want to do all kinds of stuff in the desert, and they can't do it.
So what's your process of going in there and doing this? Like, do you get calls or saying like, hey, this is a good area? Or
we're just a startup right now, but we'll use what happens is, let's say this area here is the minefield, but there's no border, no fence around it. So where's the edge? Like, it sounds like a very simple question. So we can find the edge. Say, okay, the edge.
You mean countries have borders?
Yeah.
Like, not this one, it seems, but yeah, I've been told. So we find the edge, and then we determine extent and magnitude of contamination. So there might be areas that are less contaminated, and you might want to start there so you can start releasing land to people, to farmers, or oil exploration.
So you do it in sections.
You grid the whole thing.
Yeah. And then there might be areas that are just so contaminated, it's like, you know what? Let's just put a fence around that and never touch it again.
Oh, gotcha. Maybe. So there could be a like areas that are so dense.
Maybe
that you're just like
it would be your land. I'm just giving you the information. I'm just giving you the map.
Say this is the percentage of you blowing up if you.
So the subterranean map we have called the intelligence layer, which no one can really do right now. They could do it with metal detectors,
right?
But a metal detector doesn't find a plastic landmine.
So can you walk us through the technology of how? I mean, I know you probably are under a lot of NDAs, so you can't share all the secret sauce, right?
Right.
But walk us through how you got from, instead of us walking and waving our magic wands over, the minefields, how do you go from point A to point B where you guys are using the drones, you guys are using this ground penetrating technology? Because I don't know about you, but I've seen this, like, if you go on the History Channel all the time, right? They're like, especially the guys that are from Oak Island.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah,
18 million seasons of
penetrating technology. They've used it for 20 years. Yeah, and they're like, it's in the pit. It's in the pit, and all they find is like coconut fiber.
Yeah.
So like
a piece of wood or something.
But the technology is really awesome, right? But I feel like walking takes way more time than flying an actual drone.
Well, it's also a lot more dangerous too.
It is, right? And it's safer. So how do you get from that to what you're doing? Because it's not like you're just taking an infrared camera or something and sticking it on a drone, right? Like, you've got to develop a special ground penetrating type of system, the camera that goes on the drone.
We do have a camera on the drone. Actually, no, I'm sorry.
Or not a camera, I'm sorry, but
we have the ground penetrating radar on the drone.
The radar.
We do have another drone with a camera on it. I was hoping to put a camera on the drone with the ground, just fill it with tech and just fly it. But the ground penetrating radar on the drone flies lower and slower. So the camera has to fly higher because we do have the algorithm to teach it to recognize ordnance. Because in Ukraine, there's a lot of ordnance on the ground. There's a lot of landmines. They just lay it on the ground. There's millions of landmines. You can't bury them all, so they lay them on the ground. It'll recognize those. We just need to build our catalog to teach it. We don't have the algorithm just yet for the ordnance under the ground, which I don't know that we can. I'd be very, someone said, well, why not? What's stopping you? And I was like, okay. So let's say we're using the algorithm for underground, and we're going to build a soccer academy over that afterwards. Are you going to put your kid in that soccer academy to play?
Gotcha.
Right? You got to use an extreme example. It's not that hard with landmines. But we would get so like in other countries they have this challenge, and we would get hired by the government, and they would say, okay, first we're going to practice and we're going to check out the soil because all the soils are different. We've got to tweak things. We do that in a training area, and then we would go out to the minefield and we would fly back and forth. We set it up like it's called a lawnmower, and it just goes back and forth.
Is someone manually flying it, or is this? It's all coordinates.
It has to be coordinates because it'll fly evenly.
Okay.
If you're flying it, it's going to be a little, on the turns and stuff. So it's got to overlap just right. So there's a program for that, and then we take the memory stick out of it, stick it into Pavin's magically delicious software, and then he goes through it. I mean, once he shows you how to do it, you're like, oh my God, there it is. So when we were in Ukraine, I had them set up the mock minefield in a pattern so you could see it on the subterranean map, which a lot of the Russians do too. They have patterns of the landmines.
Oh, gotcha. How they lay them out and stuff.
Yeah, so you'll see the patterns in the subterranean map. It's pretty cool.
Have you seen the fiber optic cables that are attached to the drones that they're using over in Ukraine? Have you seen the pictures of this?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
We've got
it's like spider webs.
I want to be able to pull this up so people can see this. Like at this point in the video, like people have to see this.
Yeah, it's
because it is unreal. So
couldn't explain.
So if you don't know what fiber optic cable is, which everybody should now because it's in everything pretty much, it's like a spider web. It's like as thin as hair pretty much.
Yeah.
And what the Russians are doing over in Ukraine is they are attaching this fiber optic cable to the drones, and they're flying the drones from the cable, right? That's what's powering the drone itself.
That's what's talking to it. The Ukrainians.
That's talking to it, or the Ukrainians. Sorry, the Ukrainians.
Yeah.
The Ukrainians are doing this.
Yeah.
And there must be millions of miles. I'm not even exaggerating. Like maybe hundreds of thousands.
It could
of
be
miles.
more.
I mean more. I mean millions.
I mean there are
millions
cities
of miles.
with the
It looked like if you ever woke up in the morning time, you walk outside. I don't know. We live in the South, and we have a farm back home, and so like if you walk out and there's fog and there's dew on the ground, and you've seen like the spiders that have like made webs all over the ground. It is like that.
That's what it looks like?
over a city.
Yeah.
I saw a Ukrainian soldier walk through a field, and he just put his hand over the grain and picked it up like this, and it was thousands of little cables that were.
Yeah.
And what are those connected? Those are
wild.
connected to drones and stuff?
So if you're flying the drone and in your little hand device is talking to the drone, then someone else could interfere with it.
But
it's like a hard line.
If it's hard lined in,
but it's really thin.
Nobody can.
That's exactly what it is. And then
get the signal.
It's like on a fishing reel, like a spinning reel.
Like a big spool.
Yeah.
It's a
big
huge
spool. And then it just,
But they just like leave it there, like after they're done
There's
with
nothing
it.
you can do.
Or
I mean, it's because you're flying it, let's say, for 30 minutes. So if we're flying something from, let's say, the podcast studio to the mall, we're not just going to go in a straight line. We're probably going to go a straight line first and then go around. So like this thing is.
So they just cut it off at the end, and they're like, "That's it."
That's it.
Well, it just blows up.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but the line itself, they snip it and put it into another drone.
That's crazy. Yeah. I haven't seen that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We got to get those pictures.
It's totally a thing. It's crazy. And I've been to not areas like that. You know, when we go now, we don't go where the fight. You can't just go to where the fighting is. You got to get permission, and they got roadblocks. But where we were doing the training before we gave our demonstration, the training area, it was everywhere.
Yeah,
like tripping on it.
Wow.
Yeah, and you could barely see it
because it's so thin.
It's so thin. Yeah,
and they just leave it there.
They just leave it there. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's another thing that they're going to be dealing with.
Like that,
like the cleanup of that,
figure out how to recycle it or do something.
Because when I say a city is covered in this, it's like going downtown to West Palm Beach, and as far as you can see, it like.
But it's really, really thin. I didn't even know they had that technology to like have
it looks
data.
Like
it's real thin.
Wow,
it is. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen when it comes to like war.
Yeah, we're definitely in the future.
You should come with us on our next trip.
It's freaky. Honestly, I would like to go over and see it, man. Experience it.
It's a great place. The people are very cool.
Yeah,
smart people.
So
awesome people. Yeah.
So go back to your technology.
Okay.
Did you create the technology yourself?
I didn't. No. Ron, who's our chairman, Ron Spale, he was the CFO at NASA. Guy's got a bit of a Rolodex.
Oh, wow.
So he knows a lot of people, and he knows my background. We had a mutual friend introduce us. And he said, hey, what do you think about this thing? We put a ground penetrating radar on a drone, fly it over minefields. And I was like, it's not going to work. And he's like, well, why not? And I said, because of the height and the moisture content in the soil. I'm not a soils expert, but I know a high moisture content hurts you. And again, not a soils expert, but the soil is so fertile in Ukraine, it's got to have a high moisture content. And he said, okay, you're right on those two counts. But what if I told you I knew a guy that had a special software program that overcomes that? I was like, okay, it was a long time ago that I dealt with a ground penetrating. Like, I'm listening. So he explained how Pavin has, developed this software. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I know a guy, Mike Dominique. He was, we were in the Navy together, and he's working in Ukraine for Tetra Tech. So he set up a demonstration for us on a military base in Chernihiv, and we tested it on a mock minefield, and it worked. These two
Wow.
colonels were there. These two Ukrainian colonels. They were like, "Holy cow!" Now, we've the guy that invented this, that makes these ground penetrating radars. It's not the same one that goes on a cart that goes next to the ground. It's a very special kind, and this guy developed this. And
you have a patent on this, or he has a patent on this?
I don't know.
It'd be good to find out.
I don't know. You know, but he. I mean, this isn't the only one. There's other ones that go on drones.
Gotcha.
But he was the way we did the demonstration wasn't 100% realistic, but it was realistic enough to know that it works. And he's overcome those things now. He's developed it now and overcome those things, and now it works perfect. But I said to my buddy Mike, I was like, "Dude, I know it's not exactly realistic." And he goes, "We've had people come out here with jalopies that fell apart in the middle of their thing, and they had to just pick them up and carry it away, and walk of shame."
Wow.
I was like, "Oh," he goes, "No, this is a huge success."
That's great, man.
Yeah, so it's very cool.
So, being a bomb tech, you've got to make decisions, right? So James Clear, he's the author of Atomic Habits, and he says that we're so focused on trying to figure out like the best approach in business, right? That we never get around to taking action. So, how important is it in your line of work to just make a decision, stick to it, take action? Because I know in the security field, I can't spend all day long debating on whether this is going to be a good decision or not. It's like I need to be presented with two to three, ideas or decisions, and I've got to pick one, and I have to go for it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I have to stick with it. So I tell my wife all the time, like, I have to. You make a decision, you stick to it. We just go. Period. In this line of work. Yeah. So how important is it for you?
Well, that's a good question, and you've been doing the security thing longer than 2 weeks, so you're not just making a rash decision. You're taking your years of experience,
right?
And in the EOD field, you learn about safety precautions. So let's say, and I don't know how many safety precautions there are. Every piece of ordnance has specific things, right? So you know what that piece of ordnance is, and you know the safety precautions that are related to it. And then as you approach it and do your recon, you can start eliminating safeties, right? And start saying, okay, that's not a landmine, so I don't have to worry about stepping on it. That's not a bouncing Betty. I have to worry about ejection, and it's going to blow up in my face. That's not whatever. So you start eliminating safety precautions. So when I'm doing, my business, I feel that I'm a pretty good risk manager.
Yeah.
So I take my, experience that I have, since, and you have some good experience and some bad experiences, and you mesh that together, and that becomes, your inventory of your experience. And I make a decision. I respectfully disagree with you though, and you just move on, because I'm like, things change.
Well,
I'll make a decision, and then I'm like, hold on a minute, hold on.
I mean, it's like a dance,
because
it's like
then you got to reevaluate and say,
right.
Okay, that seemed like a good idea, but now I have new info,
right?
And we got to make a change, and then you pivot, So
sure,
yeah, and we're always doing that, especially working overseas. We were just going to go to Ukraine a couple of weeks ago, and the power's out. There's 2 feet of snow, and they can't clear the roads, and it's dangerous, and so we didn't go.
Yeah. But in order to make that first step, you have to make a decision. You have to go.
You got to go.
You can't spend all day debating on whether this is going to be the right thing or the wrong thing.
And I have a story about that. We had this new officer in charge on our team, an OIC, and he was new in EOD, and we were doing a drill. So the inspection, the training cell came into our shop, and they were like, okay, we're going to do a drill, and you guys, it's going to be this, and meet us out here and do the thing. And the OIC just kept talking and, briefing and all that. And I was like, someone's got to load a truck and hit the road.
Yeah.
Are we gonna actually do this, or are we gonna sit around here and go through the publications and let's just go? And I was the junior guy on the team, but I had been to Desert Storm. So, we didn't have that luxury yet. So eventually we got in the vehicles, and the training cell at our unit was like, oh my God, what took you guys so long? sitting around the shop talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a drill, and the guy was terrified to fail a drill.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's like, that's when you, not that you want to fail a drill, but if you're going to fail,
If you're going to fail,
that's when you want to do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So so let's go back to, you know, I asked you in the very beginning, you ever had any close calls? We're talking about Desert Storm.
Yeah.
So can you give us a story about when you had a close call? Were you at the point where it's just like, it might be lights out for good?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't have any stories like that. In which wire do you cut? You
Right. Because you see that,
never cut a wire
you
in my
see
life.
that in the diehards and all that. It's like blue, red.
Ah,
Is it blue though?
it's the only way you cut
Have you
a
ever
wire.
cut one that's
No,
blue?
I've
Okay.
never cut a wire in my life when it comes to that. But I will tell you the story. We were in Desert Storm, and we're on this beach in Kuwait, and there's a trench that goes all the way along the beach, and somehow, so we were outside of the trench, and there was a sea mine, so it somehow washed ashore.
It's got the big spikes on it.
It had
ball that
three
Okay.
chemical horns.
Yeah.
And it looked like a big cheeseburger. We called it a cheeseburger. So we were like, how did this get over the trench? But it was like, you know, right over the trench. So we're going to blow it up. And
Rising sea levels for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Not true.
the only you know, you want what we call overhead, frontal and overhead protection.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm doing this with this Master Chief, who's very experienced guy. Probably, I think he was the most senior guy involved with all this. Not in rank, but in experience in EOD. So he's like, Paul and I are going to blow this thing up. Everybody go back to the trucks, and we got this. And I was like, oh boy, you know, I'm doing this with Master Chief. So I'm like, you know, I want to be respectful, but I'm also like, where are we going to do this? Where are we going to hide? And he goes, well, we'll just get in the trench here.
Yeah, we'll just drop.
We'll just get in the trench. And I'm like, you know, that's really close. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like, dude, it's
I know
too
what I'm
close.
talking about, Murray.
It's too damn close. But like, and he just laughed. He wasn't like that. He was just like,
It's like noob.
he's like, we'll be
Yeah.
fine. So I was like, oh boy. So he lets me set up the shot and do the whole thing, and we bring it to the trench. And I was like, we could be at the trench down there. And he's like, no, we're going to do it right here. And I was like, oh shit. So fire in the hole, thing blows up, and he was a big man, and I was tiny, and it like blew him into me. And like now we're both like on our hands and knees, like totally out of breath, and like,
You know the VA is only going to give you 10%.
Yeah. There's not service related. So he just looks at me and he goes, it'll take your breath away, won't it? I was like, yeah, I thought we were like all the safety
Coughing up
precautions.
blood. He's like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, sir.
The blood coming out of my ear. I mean, no, but it definitely, you know, we were both on Queer Street for a minute there. And, you know, that was pretty close.
Wow.
I didn't think I was going to die, but we were way too close. And then another time as a civilian, I was on a tropical island blowing up some stuff, and I had a bunch of lamp wire, and I only had that much. I didn't have more than a lamp. I had a roll of it, but I was way too close to a couple of mortar rounds that we were blowing up, and we were using explosives from the rock quarry, and you know, it worked, but it was a little too close for that one. It got a little zesty.
Some jerry rigging going on.
Oh yes, yeah, on the islands, you know, you got to do it.
You got to MacGyver it, man.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Mountain Dew can.
Yep.
Some sticks of Double Mint Fresh, you know.
Yeah, there was some electrical tape going on, and like, there was a lot of stuff going on there to make that one work. But it went bang.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was cool.
So I've got a couple more questions, and then we can wrap it up.
Sure.
But you know, one of the things I like to ask, well, these last two I like to ask a lot is, number one, if you could go back and if you could start over tomorrow. If you go and start over tomorrow, what's one principle or mindset that you'd carry with you? If they said, Paul, you know, sorry, you're not on the team anymore or whatever, or you're just like, hey, I've got to start bombs away all over again tomorrow. Yeah. What's one mindset that you'd carry with you? And how would you do it?
Yeah, I've thought about that where someone was like, I want to start this company. You want to do it with me? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things I didn't know how hard it was.
Yeah.
And like with Bombs Away, the military on Guam, the military would come out and get the ordnance, and it wasn't a thing. I was the only company. I was the first company. Later, after I left Guam, the feds were like, you can't move dirt on Guam without a bomb guy there on a military base. And that was
so
what
you changed the whole culture.
It wasn't because of me. Because it was a couple of years later, but I used to say, in the States, in areas where there's ordnance, you got to do that. I mean, someone's sitting at a red light and there's a backhoe over there and they're finding a piece of ordnance and you're sitting there at a red light with your kids in the car. That's not cool. And I kind of got laughed at, but I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. And, I had some success in not I did some work on Guam, but mostly in Micronesia. And then my wife is born and raised in America, but I did some work she's Cambodian.
Yeah.
And they've got all the landmines there and unexploded ordnance. And I went over there and I met
because there's a lot over there. Cambodia, Myanmar, all of it, right?
Yeah, the Khmer Rouge just indiscriminately mine the country. So there isn't a fence around anything and you don't know where anything is. And a lot of people there, like,
going in blind.
Like really. in a I forget what the number is. I think it's 100, 250. So in America, and it's due to like industrial accidents, and you get in your routine, you go to Starbucks every day or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't see people with artificial legs.
No.
Right?
No. That's what I'm saying. We live in a bubble.
So
people
it's like
don't see that
one
stuff.
in every 20,000 Americans is an amputee. But it's for, now you might see more because of veterans. But
no, it's because people are unhealthy and they eat too much sugar.
Diabetes.
That's exactly what it is.
There is that too.
Nobody wants to walk or run or work out anymore.
But in Cambodia, it's like one in every 220 or something. I mean, you see them everywhere.
Man.
You see them everywhere.
Kids too, right?
Like, yeah. Well, a lot of times the kids don't live because of the tissue loss.
Yeah.
So they don't live. Yeah. But what they do there is they have these humanitarian groups that make legs and they hire landmine victims. So the first thing you do when you get a job there is you make your leg.
Oh wow.
Can you imagine that? And they're like, they're not like the high speed ones. They're like this rubber thing. And they're terrible. I mean, the ones in Ukraine are like, at least they're high speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's So anyway, sorry. What would I do to change? I would, I don't know. I don't know if I would do it again. Like, this is hard, but this is a good startup. I have good business partners. It's different. I did it on my own. That's what it is. I did it on my own, and I wouldn't do it on my own again. It was hard in a good way. It was a great learning lesson, but I wouldn't do it again on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard.
So to wrap it up, the reason we started this show is we're connectors, right? Like, we want to connect people that have a pitch, that have a vision and idea with other people that have the resources or the know-how to do it. So, what is one thing? I don't even say not even one thing. What is it that you need? If because now's the time to really pitch it.
Right.
What is the thing that you need the most? You and your team to go out and make this a success, because obviously you're needing to get into Egypt.
Yep.
You're needing to get into, you need special access to certain areas. You need different types of technology. What is it that you need in order to make your company a success, and in order to make your vision and the goal of what you're trying to do in humanitarian operations successful?
Yeah. So, no, not a new concept. We need money.
Right.
And our ask is for $2 million.
Yeah.
And that gets us to conferences, that gets us to travel to Egypt and Ukraine. And, you can't just go one trip. You got to develop relationships. We've got to buy drones. We've got to buy ground penetrating radars. I mean, a drone is $10,000. The ground penetrating radar is $20,000, $30,000.
Yeah.
All the travel over there, vehicles. I mean, it all adds up, and $2 million go away pretty quickly.
Do you have a 501c3? Is it set up through a 501c3? Is it LLC?
No.
Like, it's just it's a
we're
profit.
We're a corporation. We're a for-profit corporation.
Yeah. Okay. So right now your goal is $2 million. That will get you pretty much everything that you need.
Everything we need. Yep.
What's the goal for the fleet of the drones and stuff? Like, what's the number you're shooting for? Like, this is how many
we don't have a number right now, but I mean, we don't need a lot, but we need like 5 drones and 5 GPRs, and that's over $100,000 right there.
Yeah.
And
Box of MREs.
a box of MREs, and a case of water, and we're good to go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, for those of you that are listening, Paul and his team, they could definitely use your help to support them, to support their mission. And I think it's great. I think it's great what you're doing. I think it's great what your team is doing to go out and to help. Really, I mean, it's innocent lives that are in the way. These people don't ask. They don't ask to be in the middle of conflict.
Absolutely.
They just that's the way it is. Unfortunately, that's the way it is outside of this bubble that we live in.
Yeah, we do live in fantasy land.
And we do. And so that's our goal. We're going to try our best to get the story out, to get the technology out there to the people so they can hear it. We're going to post up a video. He's making a documentary right now called Iron Soil. Right? Iron Soil.
Yeah, we didn't name it. I love the name.
Yeah, it's a great name. We're going to post the trailer up on our website, and there's a link that Aiden's set up.
There'll be a bunch of links in the description. You can go right to his page on our website. You'll see all the trailers, all the videos for that, and there'll be links for you guys to support him and what he's doing in that company, either by connecting or by just giving and investing in that as well. So that'll all be on our website, all in the show notes and stuff, so you guys can click on those links there.
Yeah. Well, Paul, thanks so much for coming on today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wasn't so bad.
No, you guys are amazing.
That was great, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Paul's story and for tuning in to the Pitches and Niches podcast, where we are connecting vision with opportunity. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and to listen on Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. And tune in next time. We'll see you later.
We'll see ya.